Have you seen the real estate market? Have you sat inside your house and just wondered, where can I go? What can I do? Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about a few things you can do to your home to revitalize your space and absolutely fall back in love with your home. How about we open up the dialogue? Comment below, put one room in your house that you feel like could use a little facelift, and I will comment back and we can talk back and forth about some ideas and we can brainstorm together to make your space get a new energy, revitalize it, and make you fall back in love with that space. Sound good? Comment below and let's start that conversation. Hey everybody, Jeremy Kane, eXp Realty here. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below, hit that notification bell so that you get alerted when I put out new content. This is your one-stop shop for all things real estate from the client perspective, and I can't wait to start that journey with you. All right, so let's dive in. What are some things you can do to fall back in love with your home? First things first, something I recently did to my house is update those light fixtures. For some reason, those light fixtures are the things that come in and out of style a lot quicker. When I'm showing homes, I always see those old gold, maybe they have the old glass kind of chandelier, real gaudy things. Some people love those. Absolutely, if you change that, it'll update your space immediately. It's one of the last things we did in our home remodel, and I kind of wonder why, but the reason is I was so picky on what I wanted, so it took a little bit, but definitely changing out those light fixtures. Definitely be careful, hire a professional if you don't know what you're doing. There is YouTube, but I'm not taking any liabilities on that. So light fixtures is one thing you can do to add a ton more light to your room or take a little away depending on your style. But the new LED lights and things are so bright and have, completely brightened up my house. So that's the first thing that you can talk about doing to revitalize, an entire floor of your house if you wanted to at a pretty cost-effective rate. Next, let's talk about adding an accent wall. When we talk about accent walls, you immediately kind of think of paint and things like that. That's where we'll start, but be bold, right? All these new bold colors, especially with our gray neutral tones as a base. A lot of people are going really bold with these accent walls. The matte finish, black even, teal, blue, those darker colors really bring life to that room. Be very careful as those accent walls in those corners. Definitely use that frog tape if you're doing it yourself, but can definitely change a room and give it a lot of style based on what you got going on. So accent walls are something that absolutely, get a can of paint, get some tape and get to work. Really help revitalize a space for sure. If paint's not your thing, maybe you just want to add an accent wall. Obviously collage walls, family walls, so many cool picture frames and media for pictures and metal pictures and canvases and things like that. Really give it some good dimension and can completely re-energize a space. So that's another way to bring an accent wall into the fold without getting dirty with the paint brushes. Next thing is walk in your house. What's the first thing you look at? A lot of times it's a staircase, maybe the kitchen, maybe the open concept, but that first thing you see, that eye-catching thing, is something that maybe we can look at. If it's a staircase, there's all the new wrought iron and cable kind of style railings, which really modernize a space if that's what you're going for. You can even paint. A lot of banisters and things came in white, or maybe they're wood and they're a little beat up. It is very tedious if they're beat up. You got to sand them down and kind of get to work. I was successful with my professional painter from Elkhorn Painting. Shout out to Elkhorn. We ended up going with the same paint they use on outdoor fire extinguishers, and it finally worked and stuck to the banisters. So make sure you're being smart about that. It's not just a normal can of paint to throw on there, but that does kind of revitalize it. We had all white, so it had already been painted. What we did was paint the actual railing, the banister, a darker color, and we repainted the spindles white to kind of freshen them up. It looks great. We love it. We have to go touch it up because it's paint, high traffic areas, but it was a disaster at first. Every time you touched it, it would chip. So make sure you're using the right paint if you're going to go the paint route, but reshaping those banisters and redoing those can really help. Another common eye-catching spot is your fireplace or mantel. Throw a little bit of funky tile backsplash on there or something to really revitalize that. Those built-ins are coming back after we ripped them all out. Now we want them back. The old reclaimed wood mantels, things like that. Stack stone. There's all kinds of ideas that you can do with an already existing fireplace. In Colorado, we have a lot of fireplaces to really make that mantle area pop for not as much money as, new fireplace or, complete reno there. So that is something absolutely to consider. Go around, just walk into each room. What's your eye look at first, and what can we do to change that is kind of where I would start if this is something that you're interested in doing. All right, we all remember when we were younger, right? We would rearrange our rooms. I swear, Mom, I kept it clean for another extra 2 or 3 days. So let's take that a little bit further here. Rearranging furniture, recovering furniture, adding a new furniture piece, anything like that to a room can definitely bring it new energy. Switching your living room furniture with your family room furniture, things like that, always helps. So get a partner and move some furniture around and see if you can bring more life to that space, maybe make it more usable. Speaking of more usable, you could definitely repurpose a room. A lot of us have, that old family room, or sitting room that has that old furniture in, that's classic furniture, it's antique or whatever it may be, but we never use it. So is there something else we can get out of that room if we're working from home? Could it be an office space? Could it be a music room or a hobby room? Obviously, that family sitting room that I'm talking about is usually right by the front door, so maybe not the best place for a hobby room unless you're super organized, unlike myself. But just moving some things around and working with what you have, and maybe going to get an extra piece from another room or thrift store or something like that, refinishing a dining room table or something like that will really help and bring life back to the room and brings a little more feng shui energy there. So that's also something you can do for free if some of these things are out of your price range, to really, repurpose a room and make it more useful for your current lifestyle. Because let's face it, our lifestyles are a little bit different than they were 2 or 3 years ago. All right, and next is a little bit more expensive. We're talking about knocking out walls. If you are going to do this, please reach out. Would love to consult with you on what to go to. I will tell you that the answer is kitchen, bathroom, primary bedroom, possibly outdoor living space. So those comfort spaces, the places that we spend a lot of time, those are the places you want to start with. If you can open up a wall, knock out a wall, kind of envision what that would do for your natural light. We all love natural light into our homes, and knocking out walls obviously just increases the light that can come through from different windows into different rooms and things like that. So if we're knocking out walls and going big, you can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on kitchens, all the updates, all the fancy stuff, knocking out walls. Make sure you're talking to engineers before you're knocking down walls in your house, because we don't want it to fall over. That would be a poor decision and not what we're looking to repurpose a space. But start in the kitchen. Bathrooms, a lot of really cool powder room ideas. That's where that wallpaper really comes into play sometimes now, even, wallpaper, which can go back to that accent wall thing too. Throw a little wallpaper back up after we just finally got it out of our lives completely. We want it back. And then, the master bedrooms, master bathrooms, or primary bedrooms, primary bathrooms. Everyone wants a huge shower. Not as many people want a tub. Some people still want the tub. So the only advice I have there is make sure you have one tub for us people with children that might want to buy your house at some point. Having a tub's pretty important, as my 3-year-old probably wouldn't do so well in the shower. So, and obviously this is the highest cost, completely renovating a space and things like that. So if you want to talk about return on investment, whether you're planning on staying in your house for 20 years or 1 year, we can definitely talk about that. But I have a ton of clients that are like, oh yeah, we're gonna do all this renovations, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. They spend a ton of money, and then they make it exactly how they want, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna have another kid, or this house isn't where we want to be long term, and we end up selling it. That's great, but if you're doing it to sell, do it for someone else. If you're doing it for the long term, like when we redid our kitchen at our house, we were gonna be here for a long time, so I said, let's spend an extra little bit of money and make it exactly what we want, because this is what we're gonna live with for the next 20 years. So all of that comes into play. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Again, please comment below. Comment one room that you would want a little bit of help with, or maybe some brainstorming, and we can brainstorm together. We can take it from comments here to private DM message, whatever you want to do. But I'm super excited to help you go through that piece If you're thinking about a big time renovation, please talk, give me a call. I can connect you with contractors and we can go through your entire situation and make the right choices and really talk about what the best situation is for your home. I appreciate you tuning in today. Jeremy Kane, eXp Realty. Comment below, follow me on the socials, and let's talk about keeping your home for you and building it up so you can fall back in love with every little space in your home. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.